Merry Christmas, people, and a Happy New Year. I've not long since got back from Manchester, funnily enough. I was actually away with my family over Christmas, and it was brilliant. It was nice to see them and to generally just get away for about 10 days or so. Um, anyway, on this channel, you probably will have seen me do mostly football reaction videos, generally, and me complaining about Sunderland, which isn't a given because we've lost every game in December now. But this video is mainly going to be about something a little bit different. It's going to be like a New Year video, and just to talk about what 2015's been like for me personally, not just in terms of Sunderland, although I will be mentioning Sunderland a little bit. But generally, what it's been like for me, what happened over Christmas, etc. Go into a bit more personal and into myself as a person, and then obviously from there, the reviews will be back on Saturday when we host Aston Villa. Just quickly, like the true Geordie did before the derby, dear God, who looks like Dumbledore apparently, please let Sunderland win this weekend. We need to beat Villa to give ourselves a chance of survival. Please. Right, that's out the way. Yeah, so let's just get into it. So, I mean, for those of you who've been following my channel from the beginning, and appreciate every one of you who subscribed, by the way, I started in it was the start of October when we played West Ham. Generally with this video, now I've been inspired by the true Geordie, because I've mentioned him quite a few times. I've been inspired by him to do videos like these, and generally just to get me thoughts out. I am nowhere near the best at YouTubing, but not by a country mile. One of my best friends in real life, Super Metal 1993, who does his own metal music reviews and updates and purchases sort of thing. Not my cup of tea, but he's a close personal friend of mine. Go and check his channel out if you haven't already. I'll leave a link in the description. He was partly one of the people as well that actually inspired me to come back and do YouTube. For those of you who don't know, I had a YouTube channel about, how many years ago was it now? 5 years ago, called MB Film Reviews, which, being brutally honest, they're not good quality. They are pretty awful. I think at the time I was also inspired by another YouTuber called Tom Chattelbash, who was quite good at his own movie reviews actually. And at the time, he was an up-and-coming YouTuber, and a lot of people trusted his judgment when it comes to movies. And at the time, movies were my passion. They were my passion around about 2010. That was what I wanted to do when I grew up. I'd been through quite a number of stages in my life, thinking about what I wanted to be when I grew up. I wanted to be a self-employed taxi driver. I then wanted to work in a school, etc. There was a few different things that I wanted to do. And then at the point, I decided I wanted to be a filmmaker, director. Because I think I can visualize things quite a lot. And I like that, and the idea of putting it on a big screen, getting paid to put things on a big screen would have been brilliant. But it probably would have been one of the most stressful jobs ever in terms of making a movie, because everything boils down to you on set. You have to make sure the acting's right, script is correct, the staging, the set pieces are right, the sets themselves are correct, and the pacing, and everything mainly revolves around you. But you have a team that will help you, but it's mainly down to you. So I didn't appreciate that until I learned more about what directors do. Then, so that was the point that when I did my first YouTube channel. After 2010, I stopped doing YouTube, and after a while, I initially promised I'd return. But to be honest, I just don't have the same enthusiasm and zest for going back and doing movie reviews. And since then, since 2010 and now, a lot of things have happened in my personal life. At the time when I was doing those YouTube reviews, I was in college at the time, and I was doing film studies and media studies A-levels. Sorry. And I'd also did an AS level in English literature and sociology. The reason for that was because I wanted to go to university to do a degree, which would then help me become a film critic if I wanted to. So I think one big factor in that was me doing film studies and media studies. And at the time, you needed something called UCAS points to get in. Now, each grade you got in A-level would equal a certain amount of UCAS points. I think I needed something like 260. It was either 240 or 260 to get into university. I'd applied to the University of Sunderland, which was actually my only choice at university because it was local. And I'd heard it was quite good for media stuff, or even media stuff, media stuff generally, sorry. But I'd done 2 full A-levels in AS Film and A-level Film Studies and A-level Media Studies, because they are 2 separate A-levels. Overall, I got a C in both of them, which I think both of them equaled about 80 UCAS points each. So that's 160. So I needed about another 100 in order to get to where I wanted to be. AES English Literature and Sociology I didn't have any interest in doing at the time, but I did them just purely because I needed extra A levels to try and get to university, and generally both of them would be stuff I'd be pretty good at. Now, sociology in particular I found very interesting, and it's since got me thinking about what society expects from people, and I'm stubborn on my views on that. I think sometimes some of the stuff that's expected is ridiculous. I think particularly with girls, the whole idea that they've got to make themselves look pretty, and although as a bloke I appreciate that, I still think it's pretty damn bullshit in some respects, because they shouldn't have to be like that. Well, I don't think they should be anyway. I don't know. My views on that probably won't make any sense. Let's just move on. Anyway, sociology as a subject was very interesting to me, especially the way it was taught. AS English Literature now was one I definitely wasn't interested in doing. Having did it, I didn't enjoy the subject, and that was partly down to the person who taught it. Sometimes I thought he was alright, but he was a bit too strict in it. I think he expected university-style essays when you're in college, and I think that's a bit ridiculous. So, but miraculously, I got a B in it, which was something, because when I did an initial essay for that, I ended up getting a D. Like on my first week on the course, I did an essay about Macbeth, I think it was. Or something along those lines, some literature form, obviously, and I got a D on it, and I had to do the essay again, at which point afterwards I think I got a C. So to get a B on it, I thought was very impressive. Sociology, I got an A. A-stit. And partly because it's one of the easiest subjects at A-level for me, I found personally I could do. It was basically memorising facts and figures and using them in the right way. That was what sociology ended up being, effectively. Now, as it turned out, I had 260 UCAS points by the end, and this was the end of the 11-12 academic year. And so it was quite difficult for me in a lot of respects, because then I remember leaving. This was when Martin O'Neill was in charge at Sunderland. I remember leaving to go to see us play Bolton Wanderers, where we drew 2-2. That was the year Bolton went down and Man City snatched the title in the last minute from Man United. That same year, I was about to leave to go to Bolton, to the Bolton game, at home at the Stadium of Light, and I got a letter saying I had applied for film and media studies and a journalism degree, and I'd got a conditional offer for both of them, which was brilliant. I didn't think I'd be good enough, quite frankly, to go to university, but I ended up going. Having said that, there was a guy called Alistair Robinson, who is a lovely bloke. He's in charge of he's like the head of journalism at the University of Sunderland. I think he's a very approachable lad. He helps you a lot with students and assignments, and he's also quite funny to listen to, I think. Anyway, he persuaded me to apply for journalism, and I realised that journalism over film and media studies was the best degree I could take to try and set a future path for myself. Now, at the time, before I started university in August 2012, I realised that I had got enough UCAS points. So at that point, I had to make a choice about what I wanted to do. Now, I enjoyed AS Sociology so much, I wanted to stay on and do the second level, the A2 level, which would then complete another A level for me. That was mainly down to who taught it, who I thought was a lovely bloke, and I thought he made the subject quite interesting, and so on and so on. In the end, though, I was persuaded by another professor at the university called Guy Starkey, who again is another lovely bloke. You can't not. Any student fellow student of mine who knew me at the university watching this video, how could you not like Guy Starkey? Come on, he's a lovely guy. Andrew Jenks will be able to get that if you're watching it, mate. There's a shout out. He said that if I really wanted to do A levels again, I could, but would I not be treading water doing it, since I didn't actually have to do it and I had enough to go to university then and there? That line effectively pushed me over the edge to do a university degree. And I have to be honest, since then, it's been one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. Since then, I started doing a journalism degree at the University of Sunderland. And at the end of the second year, I realised that I didn't have any passion for news. Now, news is important, don't get me wrong. It's very important in society. And is also important in a lot of respects. I think some news journalists in particular get a lot of grief when they shouldn't. Some deserve it, don't get me wrong. There's been cases where journalists haven't been correct in the way they've gone about things. But generally, I think that some of them got a lot of unfair stick from the public, because I think a lot of them don't get what it's like to be a journalist. And I've had a taste of it. I don't know professionally, but I've had a small taste of what it's like to be a journalist. Anyway, end of the second year, though, I still didn't have a passion for news, and I switched to sports journalism, which is the degree I ended up graduating with. And although I still haven't got a job yet, I'm applying for them continuously. So who knows how long it's going to be before if someone eventually is kind enough to take me on out of self-pity. No, I'm joking. University's helped me in a lot of aspects in terms of gaining self-confidence and being able to go about things. One thing that was surprising when I actually started the degree was how much people were afraid to talk to people, and myself included. I was petrified at speaking to people because I felt like I'd be, intruding in their personal life. I felt like I'd be a waste of time for them. There are better things to do. And as it turns out, more often than not, people are happy to talk to you and let you interview them. For SportsBite, which is the University of Sunderland Sports website, I ended up covering for Sunderland Ladies for 2.5 years. And I liked that. I loved it because it improved my knowledge of women's football. Now, I don't know as much about women's football as other people do, but I know quite a bit about Sunderland Ladies now. And as the men's team often do rubbish every year, it's nice to watch a Sunderland team that actually knows what they're doing. So, and obviously they've just finished the Women's Super League 1 a few months ago, which was a brilliant season for them. Finishing fourth when a lot of people tipped them to get relegated. Absolutely fantastic. Who knows what they're going to do next season. But that improved my self-confidence massively. And I loved that. And hopefully it's helped me feel a bit more confident in terms of going for jobs now and being a bit more outspoken for people. And it improved my interviewing skills a lot because I gained confidence. The players knew me, the club knew me, and etc., etc. Anyway, last point I'm going to make in this. 2015, generally. There was a lot of good things. 2015, I think, generally has been more of a good year than bad. The main bad part was breaking up from my first serious relationship. And I'm not going to get into it now because it's more private than anything else, more out of respect of who I separated from, as well as myself, because it's personal. But at the same time, that person who I was with, in some respects, was the best things that ever happened to me because I got experience of what it was like being in a first personal and real relationship. And I loved that. And there was a lot of aspects about that I loved. It was hard to break up from, but we're slowly getting back on track to sort of being friendly with each other. Mainly taking the piss out of my team in Sunderland, but there you go. Not pretty much everybody does, to be honest. The good things, though, the main good thing was graduating from university with a 2-1. Now, I was astonished because at that point I thought I'd be happy with a 2-2. But to get a 2-1 was absolutely fantastic. I think generally improving in confidence as a person across the last year of university was great. I think a lot of things have gone right in 2015. I've made new friends, had my first proper girlfriend from the year before, learned how to deal with a breakup, ultimately, you could say. And as I generally finishing university, in a football aspect, Sunderland getting a 0-0 draw at Arsenal and staying up, making it 5 in a row against Newcastle, 6 in a row against Newcastle, fingers crossed for 7 in a row in March. On another note, going to the Nou Camp with University to go and see Barcelona Stadium. We were supposed to go to a game, but you little buggers at the Nou Camp had to change the damn fixture, didn't you? For Sky. Get lost, Sky. You get plenty of coverage for them. We don't get a chance to see them live. But in any case, it was absolutely brilliant. 2015, I think, generally has been a very good year. There has been some bad points, but there has been some good points. Now, I hope you guys had a good Christmas, by the way. I'm hoping 2016, on a football aspect, we'll see Sunderland safe again, make it 7 in a row, and actually push on from being in relegation battles. Personally, getting a job. It probably won't happen in 2016, but eventually I want to try and move out and get my own place. But I'm happy where I am at the moment. And let's just see what happens from there. A lot of things can happen in the future. I've got an amazing set of friends as well. I've got people who care about me and love me. Likewise, I just left my family back in Manchester, and it was quite upsetting, to be honest, and especially my 2 cousins who are absolutely adorable. One's 4, one's 11. They are really, really funny and adorable and cute. But there you go. Look, guys, right, this has probably been a mumbo-jumbo of a mess. But having said that, this is just a bit of a personal interaction video with you guys. It's a bit more about my life. If you want me to do more of these things, by all means, let me know. And we'll see what happens from there. So, anyway, guys, look. Let's just see what happens. And I'm going to end this by doing what I did again after the Crystal Palace game for Sunderland against Villa. Come on, boys. Yeah, that pretty creepy voice I realised when I watched the video. I'm rambling too much. See you later. Happy New Year. And hope for a good 2016, guys.